Hey, my name's Izzy. This is Rolling Virtual Cards, and what if Mario was a commander? Can we take his essence and turn him into a... Let's go a little bit more deep into this new series. It's still going to be my 33 series where you're going to see the cards, you're going to understand the deck, but I wanted to do a step further. I wanted to ask the question, could we take fictional characters outside of Magic the Gathering and turn them into commanders? I don't mean by making a change to, or like making a custom card, right? I mean choosing a commander that kind of fits the essence of that character the best and then running it. This is something that used to be done all the time by people looking for a fun thematic deck outside of the Universe Beyond, and honestly before Universe Beyond, right? Before it was such a popular thing that everyone was like, this is the best thing ever, or I absolutely hate this. We would make decks based off of characters and design them to work as that character. That being said, let's get right into it. How do we get there? That's the question. There's three big parts that you are looking for to building a commander this way. First, you have to identify the color. Then you have to figure out what its abilities are. And lastly, you need to know what its goal is. Okay. Now, this is the three parts of what a commander gets, right? You get color identity, you have whatever abilities it has, and you have the goal of winning the game with it, right? Or how it helps you win the game, right? For Mario, I went white, red, green. Okay, using the dial over there on the right, I decided to specifically use dial because it's a simplification of what colors on the Magic Spectrum are. And so what Mario represents to me is a white, red, green type of person, right? White he's lawful. Okay, he's following the Mushroom Kingdom. He's trying to keep it in bound. If anything, he's kind of a knight of the Mushroom Kingdom, trying to save the princess, right? Red is impulsive. He is impulsive. Peach gets stolen. He doesn't come up with a plan. He doesn't think. He just goes after the princess, trying to save her, trying to stop Bowser, right? And lastly, green, instinctive. It's not that Mario is like actively amazing. It's that he instinctively has innate abilities, right? Ignoring the movie that showed that he didn't and he had to learn, right? The games, he's always just instinctively been good. He knows how to jump on people and take them out. There's always been the case since jumping, right? He knows what his abilities are. He knows how to stop people in the Mushroom Kingdom, and that's what he does. Now, abilities, the main ability that you might think with Mario is power-ups. Power-ups specifically that take a hit. And if you can think of what a power-up in Magic the Gathering is, the closest you get is an aura, right? Auras are something that you enchant onto a player and they get stronger, right? That's exactly what a power-up would be in Mario's world, in Mushroom Kingdom, right? On top of that, I guess you could say coins. It's not really an ability, but it's something that he does. He collects a lot of coins, okay? So, thinking about those, you want to go, okay, how do you get those across? We want a commander that's not only in Naya colors, but also works with his abilities, power-ups, his coins, or a goal. Now, you can try to find one that's both, but it's very hard. His goal is to save someone. Usually, it's Peach from Bowser, okay? So if you could find something that's doing that, you could definitely get there, okay? And then there's always a twist, and we'll get into that twist right now. So, here's the twist, right? I had three choices after narrowing everything down. First, you're all the Mistalker. This is the best gameplay option. Now, you might think, well, Mario doesn't have hexproof, right? And that's fair, kind of, okay? Mario's hexproof could be identified as resistance from non-physical attack. Now you might think, well, okay, but he can be hit by like Kamek's magic attacks, right? And that's fair, but that's still something from magic, a Kama. That's like Kamek attacking, right? He's always physically getting hit, never like getting hit from a spell that someone else casts, kind of, right? I know Kamek's casting it, but I feel like that's like if Kamek creature was attacking, he would attack with that move, right? So I think Hexproof is okay on Mario. You could even identify that maybe that's his star, but that's not really exactly what it is. Hexproof was kind of hard to identify, but the cool part about this is it's Uriel the Miststalker gets +2/+2 for each aura attached to it, right? This was interesting. Having it have that specifically really gives you a leap and bound approach where Uriel gets buffed from the auras, which Mario does. He gets stronger. He physically can punch bricks after he gets a power-up. He can't at his base form. And I like that concept. That concept of constantly getting stronger and stronger as more stuff gets on there. It's not a one-to-one, obviously. Mario has only ever been able to have like 2 power-ups on him at a time. I guess Superstar is another one. You could again say that that's his hexproof. But I like the idea of Uriel gameplay-wise. Goal-wise, though, Jared Cathalian True Air fits perfectly, okay? For Naya, you get a 3/3 human warrior that when it enters the battlefield, target opponent becomes the monarch, and you cannot become the monarch this turn, okay? Right there, that is like Bowser steals Peach, and now you have to wait a turn because you got to go on your adventure before you can get to Bowser and save Peach. And then if damage would be dealt to Jared Cathalian, while you're the monarch, you prevent that damage and put that many 1/1 counters on it. So to me, that kind of feels like you rescued Peach, and now Mario is like stronger, right? Because he's got Peach on his side. Maybe he's got like Peach can supply him with like power stars or something. You've never actually seen what happens after he gets, right? But then if you take the damage, you being like the Mushroom Kingdom, that's someone Bowser or King Boo or I don't know, the third person he would fight, Petey Piranha, I don't know, steals. There are 3 Bowsers, and they're all after Peach, and the Monarch is Peach. And you could even do this cool thing where you have Peach as like your Monarch token, and whoever has Peach is the Monarch. It's kind of funny, and I like that idea goal-wise. Then lastly, he's got his brother Luigi, and I think if you were going to do that, it's Ardeen and Tana, and this fits so well in a lot of ways. So this is Ardeen is 2 and a white for a 2/2 core scout that at the beginning of combat turn you may attach any number of aura equipment you control to target, permanent, or player. And the reason this works is because in Mario, and I think World and higher, you can drop your item, collect it, and in like 3D World, you can drop, or I think other ones, you can drop your item and other people can grab it. And that's so cool because that kind of fits that like multiplayer aspect where you're like, oh, I don't need this aura, you can have it, right? It's you may attach any number, so you can just be like, you can have all this stuff, I don't need it. And then Tana, you might be like, well, how does that fit? Well, it's a 2/2 with trample, and then whenever it does combat damage to the player, you create that many 1/1 green sapling creature tokens. Well, sapling creature tokens are toads. So you're just making toads that are on your team. You're like, yeah, Toad Army. And that's hilarious. I love that concept. I loved all of these. But I was going for Mario's essence. So guess down below who I did. And while you're down there, make sure you subscribe. It really means a lot to me. I'm trying to hit 100 subscribers before the end of this year. I doubt I'll make it. But if I do, thank you. If I don't, it's your fault. You, the one watching up to here who decided not to hit the subscription bell. Hit it. The eye is watching you. Anyway, I chose Uriel. Uriel the Miststalker to me just really, really fit Mario. Overall, it felt most Mario when building the deck. Okay? Because it's like, from the beginning, yes, there was like always Luigi, because you could always play 2 players since the first Mario. Yes, he was always saving Peach. But his power-ups have always been there, and I just really like that concept. So let's go over Uriel fully. Uriel the Miststalker is 2 red, green, white for a Naya commander who is a 5/5 legendary creature beast with hexproof. Your old Mistalker gets +2/+2 for each aura attached to it. With the fun text, it strides through the white cover. Mists, in which even gargantuan. So, flavor-wise, of course not. No, you're not going to find a flavor-wise that 100% fits Mario. But you are going to find this fantastic guy that fits him gameplay-wise and really feels like you're playing Mario. So, a color identity, he's going to get 3 points here. That's the three there for total points. He gets the 5 for your engine. He gets 1 for casting. He's not a 0. Okay, at least he doesn't cost 6. Then he'd be a 0. But that's going to be 3 points for the colored, total 5 total monos, 3 different pips. That means the 5 is only worth 2 points, and since he has 3 different color pips, that drops him a point, making him 1. But he does get a 4 out of 5 for protection with that nice hex. Very hard to target this guy. Destroying him really requires a board wipe, and that's very annoying. Because the thing about board wipes is that they equalize the playing field. And that's why hexproof is better than indestructible, okay? Because indestructible, you can technically just single target exile it, and there's plenty of those cards. We all know that. So. But this brings him to 13, meaning he's only an okay commander. And I think that's where Uro belongs, okay? Commanders used to all be in that okay section where this guy wasn't designed for commander. He was just a cool commander, and people were like, this is like one of the best aura commanders ever because he just gets big, and he's a Voltron, okay? So this is Mario going on a rampage. What does that look like overall, right? Well, welcome to the 33, or to the other 33. The other 33 is the meat and potatoes of the commander deck. This is where we go over those juicy cards that make you want to play the deck. And specifically, the ones that make it feel like Mario. Theming auras or power-ups. Let's talk Totem. This is the most accurate version of a power-up in Mario history, okay? Or Totem Armor, or Umbra Armor as it's called nowadays, is an enchantment that if the enchanted creature would be destroyed, instead remove all damage from it and destroy this aura. You can select which one you lose, okay? This fits Mario perfectly. If you have 2 auras on it and he's about to die, you remove one and then you keep another one. So that's like him going from Fire Flower to Power Up, and then if he loses the next one, now he's Small Mario. And that's so cool. It just, the Totem Armors, the Umbra Armors fit so well that it just had to be the main crux of the deck, okay? So there are 12 Umbra cards. So, Indirect Umbra is 4, a green and a white for a enchantment aura with enchant creature. Enchant creature gets +4/+4 and has first strike, and all creatures able to block it do so. This is kind of an interesting option. It's expensive, but making Mario stronger so that he can get in. And even if they have to all block it, this is a way to remove your opponent's creature, okay? If you can get all that stuff on it, even if they all block it and he would die, the Umbra comes off instead. So he could take them out and only have to lose the Umbra, right? But that +4 brings him to a 9/9. And that's just a great way to wipe out your opponent's creatures. Mammoth Umbra is 4 and a white for an enchantment aura with enchant creature. Enchant creature gets +3/+3 and has vigilance as Umbra armor, right? So vigilance is pretty nicely put here because you're not running a lot of creatures. This is a great way. Actually, you're running a decent amount, but this is a great way for Mario to be able to block them too, right? Bear Umbra is 2 and 2 green with enchant creature gets +2/+2 and has whenever this creature attacks, untap all lands you control. This is just a fantastic way to get more stuff done in your turn or to hold up options, right? You can do all the stuff you want to because you have Bear Umbra on Mario, and then you can untap all your lands and do more, okay? Treefork Umbra is 2 and a green for enchant creature gets +0/+2 and assigns combat damage with its toughness rather than its power. This one's not super necessary. Mario has this, it's about 5/5, so this doesn't change a lot, although it does affect some things where if you're only buffing its power, you're gonna have some problems, but most of the stuff is buffing both, so it's okay. And it's a Totem Armor, so it was in the deck, okay? Umbra Armor. It says totem armor. I'm reading it, but there are Umbra armors now. There's like only one that's been like errata and reprinted at this point, and that's Lion Umbra. Snake Umbra is 2 and a green for enchantment aura with enchant creature. Enchant creature gets +1/+1 and has whenever it deals damage to opponent, draw a card. This is great. This is just a simple way to be able to draw a card every time Mario deals some damage to your opponent. Boar Umbra is 2 and a green for enchant creature gets +3/+3. Very simple buff, but making him an 8/8 is pretty nice. Lion Umbra is 2 green for an aura with enchant creature gets +3/+3 and has vigilance and reach. This is just strictly better than Boar Umbra, but it's like a much newer card that was printed in. I think that symbol should be. It's one of the Modern Horizons. So it's just a strictly better Boar Umbra. But vigilance and reach is great. This allows you to protect yourself from flyers. And Felidar Umbra is 2 and a white for enchant creature's lifelink. If for 1 and a white, attach Felidar Umbra to target creature you control, okay? So you can move it around, but the main thing, and the moving around is kind of interesting because you can save someone if you need to save someone else, which also kind of fits that feel of Mario. But the cool thing with it is giving him lifelink. That's the accidental life gain is so good in Casual Commander because it just stops you from dying, okay? A life gain decks work well too, but accidental life gain I've always found to be so nice. Where like you're running Felidar Umbra because it's 1 and a white and has Umbra armor, but it also gives you lifelink. Oh. The last 4 Umbras are Elend Umbra, which is 1 and a white for enchant creature gets +0/+4. That works very well with the defense one, or with the toughness attack one. Dog Umbra is 1 and a white for an aura with flash, and as long as another player controls enchanted creature, it can't attack or block. Otherwise, Dog Umbra has Umbra armor. So this one's interesting. You can use this just to slow your opponent down. You can be like, no, you can't attack or block, or just give your guy Umbra, which is fine. And Spider Umbra is 1 green for an enchantment that gives it, or for an enchant aura, which gives it +1/+1 reach. Not the best, but again, it's a simple Umbra armor that you're using. And then the Hyena Umbra is 1 white for +1/+1 and first strike with Umbra armor. Again, a lot of these are just ran for the Umbra armor because he has hexproof but not indestructible. The Umbra armor stops board wipes. So the only way to really remove him is an exile board wipe, which there's not a lot of them, or a bounce board wipe would work too. There's not a lot of those you have to worry about casually. So if you could run into it, trust me, it's kind of annoying. So if you play against players that run Voltron decks, I highly suggest adding those types of board wipes in because most people are going to be giving them hexproof or shroud, not shroud. That's too hard in a Voltron, but hexproof and indestructible. So the only way to remove them is a board bounce or a board exile. So let's talk about some non-Umbra auras that really help push him to the next level. Sage's Reverie is 3 and a white for an aura with enchant creature. Whenever it enters the battlefield, draw a card for each aura you control that's attached to the creature. And enchant creature gets +1/+1 for each aura you control that's attached to a creature. This is just a way to win the game. If you've got 5, 6, 7 auras on a Mario, all of a sudden he's getting like +5, 6, or 7, and it draws you so many cards. All that glitters is 1 and a white for an aura with enchant creature, and then enchant creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact and or enchantment you control. So that's not just auras, it's all of them. You can easily get +10 with this, and that's insane on Mario. Raincore is 1 green for an aura, enchant creature gets +2/+0 and has trample. Whenever Raincore is put into the grave of the battlefield, return to the owner's hand. Raincore is really good here because it's cheap, and it gives him trample. Mario does not have evasion, so he's going to constantly be blocked, which is annoying. Raincore gets rid of that problem. Ethereal Armor is 1 white for an aura with enchant creature, and enchant creature gets +1/+1 for each enchantment you control and has first strike. So this is another way just to get really, really big. Mario doesn't normally have a way to just trample through things and deal damage, so I thought it was fine to just kind of buff him up and have people be able to block him. It's kind of a fun boss. But let's talk about some payoffs for playing this. This is draw or finishing the level. Okay, you finish a lot of levels in Mario. I'm going to show you my cat now. My cat. Her name is Faye. Say hi, Faye. Hi. Down you go. She's cute, but annoying. So yeah, the concept is like finishing a level is like drawing your next card, getting that extra. So this is, the more you can draw, the faster you're running through Mario, okay? And of course, we're talking enchantresses, okay? So, Rite of Harmony is a green and a white for an instant. Whenever a creature or enchantment hits the battlefield you control, you draw a card, and you have flashback for 2, a green and a white. Just a great way to draw some cards. And here's all the enchantresses that we need to go through. So, Enchantress Presence is 2/0 green for enchantment. Whenever you cast enchantment, draw a card. Idle of Blossoms is 2/2 green for a 2/2 spirit with Constellation, that whenever it or another enchantment hits the battlefield under control, you draw a card. Verdirian Enchantress is 1 and 2 green for a 0/2 human druid, that whenever you play an enchantment spell, you may draw a card. Play means cast. Tangle Spawn Lookout is 2 and a white, or 2 and a green for a 2/3 satyr, that whenever an aura enters the battlefield under your control, you draw a card. Citizen Champion is 2 and a green for a 1/3 human warrior with Constellation, that whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, you put a 1/1 counter on it and draw a card. Satyr Enchanter is 1 green and a white for a 2/2 Satyr Druid, that whenever you cast an enchantment enchantment spell, you draw a card. And Mesa Enchantress is 1 and 2 green for a human druid, that whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you may draw a card. All of these are just here to draw you cards. And you might think that's a lot of draw, and it is. But Mario finishes a lot of levels. He has a lot of games. And I think it really fits you to just keep drawing cards and keep giving him these cool auras that you have equipped to him. On top of that, you have stuff like this. More enchantresses. Specifically, 4 more enchantresses. At least in this case. Sith's Harvest Hand is a green and a white for a 1/2 Nymph, that whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you gain a life and draw a card. Sarab Senior Artificer is 1 and a white for a 2/2 Dwarf Advisor, that whenever you cast an aura, equipment, or vehicle, you draw a card. Core Spirit Dancer is 1 and a white for a 0/2 Core Wizard, that whenever that gets +2/+2 for each aura attached to it, and whenever you cast an aura spell, you draw a card. Elvis Archivist is 1 and a green for a 0/1 Elf Artificer, that whenever you 1 or more artifacts in the battlefield under your control, you put 2 1/1 counters on it. This only triggers once each turn. And whenever 1 or more enchantments at the battlefield under your control, draw a card. This ability only triggers on turn. And Argothian Enchantress is 1 and a green for a 0/1 human druid with Shroud. And whenever you cast an enchantment spell, draw a card. And lastly, kind of an enchantress, at least in this deck, Season of Growth is 1 and a green for enchantment, that whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, scry 1. When you cast a spell that targets a creature you control, draw a card. So, since you're casting spells, auras that are targeting Mario, that will draw you a card. Lots of draw, and that picks up for the fact that you're not running too many enchantments, right? You're only running 16 to 18 enchantments, I think. There might be a few more that just aren't in the 33. We'll see. But Shiny Impetus is 2 and a red for an enchantment aura, that when an enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and is golden, and when an enchanted creature attacks, you get a treasure. And then Sticky Fingers is 1 red for an aura enchanted creature, with enchanted creature has menace, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. Enchanted creature dies, draw a card. So Sticky Fingers and Shiny Impetus were the closest ways to give Mario a way to draw cards. That also worked in the aura theme. There's a few equipment that do it, but we weren't running equipment. So I thought this kind of worked as a small nod to his coin collecting escapades. So those are the 32 cards. But let's talk about the number 1 card, the Golden Potato, the one card that made you want to build the deck. Now, technically here, I wanted to make the deck because I wanted to make a Mario deck, right? But what's the card that made you go, this deck would work? Pearl Air Imperial Advisor. 1 and 2 white for a 3/4 Fox Advisor with Lightwood. Enchantment spells you cast have affinity for auras. So they cost 1 less to cast for each aura you control. This includes other auras. So if you have like 3 auras, all your auras will just cost like basically the color on them. When you cast an aura spell that targets a modified permanent you control, draw a card. So the first one you cast on Mario wouldn't count, but everything else, because he has an aura attached, would be modified. That would get you a draw. So this not only is a draw engine, it's also a mana reducer, making the deck just perfect. So that's the deck. Let me show you the deck build, and there'll be a link in the description here, okay? here's the quick deck build. As you can see, there's a lot going on here. It's a pretty... There's 21 enchantments. I think 2 of them are Ghostly Prison, and there's like 3 there. Yeah, so there's like 18 auras. Maybe not enough for some people, but I think it works in this deck. There's a lot of card advantage, a lot of ramp that you're running in order to just make the deck function well. But there are 33 cards that work very well in the deck in and out of itself, okay? You didn't have to worry about a lot of draw, because a lot of your draw is within the 33, okay? Really pushing that. So, take a look. Go out and look at the deck description down below so you can see it out yourself. And feel free to copy it, because there's an option for that on Moxville, and edit it to your heart's content. But let's get it ranked. Where does it land? It lands... Oh no, I did that wrong. I will be right back. I've adjusted it. I just highlighted the wrong one. Never updated that part. But anyway, Ural the Mistalker's a 13. He's down below with Aragorn the Aragorn, yes. Aragorn the Uniter. But, so they're below your, like, Krenko, Atraxa, Gothmog, and Grima, where, like, they just have, like, that little extra. Usually because they're cheaper to cast, so they cost 1 less. Or they have something else going for it that gives them a 5. There's a few things going there, but he's still better than Lithro Blade of Elves, which is funny, because Lithro Blade of Elves is one of the most popular commanders out there, so. And Ural is not anymore, so, you know, go figure. You don't have to be great to be good. Which is true, because these are good cards. Krenko and down are all good. And then Pet Liza and up are great. Really weird situation to be in, but that's how that goes in my honest opinion. So, with that, there's not much else to talk about with this cards. So, let me know. Who would you use for Mario as a commander? Leave a comment, subscribe.